At 37,000 feet over the Indian Ocean, a Boeing 747 carrying 263 people just went silent. Not one engine, not two. All four dead. The cockpit windows had turned to frosted glass. The pilots couldn't see. And in the cabin, the captain picked up the microphone to say the most terrifyingly calm words in aviation history. This is the night a jumbo jet became the largest glider on Earth, and how its crew brought everyone home.
June 24, 1982. British Airways Flight 9, called sign Speedbird 9, is a long multi-leg journey from London all the way to Auckland, New Zealand. This particular leg lifts off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, bound for Perth, Australia. On board, 248 passengers and 15 crew. In the cockpit, 3 experienced men: Captain Eric Moody, Senior First Officer Roger Greaves, and Senior Flight Engineer Barry Townley Freeman. The aircraft is a Boeing 747-200, at the time, one of the most advanced and reliable machines ever built. 4 engines, multiple backups for every system, the kind of plane that simply does not fall out of the sky. The flight climbs to 37,000 feet. Dinner service wraps up. Most passengers settle in for the dark, quiet hours over the ocean. It is, by every measure, a completely ordinary night. About 110 miles southeast of Jakarta, though something is happening that no instrument on board can see. Mount Galunggung, an Indonesian volcano, had erupted hours earlier, hurling a cloud of fine volcanic ash high into the flight paths over Java. Not smoke, not steam, microscopic particles of pulverized rock and glass. And here's the problem: the crew had no way of knowing whether radar is designed to detect moisture, rain, storm clouds. Dry volcanic ash is completely invisible to it. Speedbird 9 was flying straight toward it. Captain Moody had stepped out to the lavatory, so it was Greaves and Townley Freeman who first noticed something strange on the windscreen. Bright, flickering streaks of light, like sparks dancing across the glass. It looked like St. Elmo's fire, a harmless electrical glow pilots occasionally see, except this was getting brighter and stranger. In the cabin, passengers looked out their windows and froze. The engines were glowing, lit up from the inside with an unnatural light. Some described it like looking into a flashbulb. Then a smell, acrid, electrical, and a thin haze began drifting through the cabin. Passengers assumed cigarette smoke. It wasn't. It was volcanic ash being sucked into the aircraft's ventilation system. Moody hurried back to his seat, and then at 8:42 p.m. local time, the first blow landed. Engine number 4 surged and flamed out. A single engine failure on a 4-engine jet is serious, but survivable. The crew began the shutdown drill for number 4. Seconds later, engine number 2 flamed out. Then, within moments of each other, engines 1 and 3 quit too, all 4 gone. The first time, a Boeing 747 was flying with 0 engine power. The ash had melted inside the engines, coating the blades and choking them dead. Now the most advanced airliner of its era was a 360-ton glider. The crew did the math fast. From 37,000 feet, they had roughly 23 minutes in the air and about 90 nautical miles of glide before the ocean. The 747 could travel around 15 kilometers forward for every kilometer it dropped. They turned back toward Jakarta and the mountains of Java and began trying over and over to restart the engines. The radio calls made it worse. Jakarta air traffic control struggled to understand. The crew reported losing all 4 engines, and the controllers, unable to believe it, at one point thought they meant only number 4. And then Captain Moody made the announcement that would go down in history.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small problem. All 4 engines have stopped. We are doing our damnedest to get them under control. I trust you are not in too much distress.
A small problem, 4 dead engines over the ocean at night, and the captain calls it a small problem. That single sentence is now studied as a masterclass in leadership under pressure. Panic in the cockpit becomes panic in the cabin. So Moody gave them calm, but the situation was getting more desperate. The ash wasn't just killing the engines. As the plane descended, the crew faced a second deadly problem. The cabin was slowly losing pressurization, and oxygen masks had dropped. One of the first officer's masks failed. Moody made the call to dive faster, descending at up to 6,000 feet per minute to reach breathable air before the mountains of Java rose up to meet them. They were now racing 2 clocks at once, altitude and the ridge line ahead. As the 747 passed through 13,500 feet, with the mountains dangerously close, it happened. Engine number 4 coughed, caught, and roared back to life. Then number 3, then 1 and 2. One by one, all 4 engines restarted. Here's the science of the save. Once the plane glided out of the ash cloud and into clean, cooler air, the melted ash on the engine blades hardened, cracked, and broke away, unchoking the engines just enough to relight. The crew climbed back to a safe altitude. They had power, they had control, but they were not done yet. The volcanic ash had sandblasted the windshield. It was now etched nearly opaque, like trying to land a jumbo jet or looking through frosted bathroom glass. Moody could see almost nothing straight ahead. He lined up the approach into Jakarta's Halim airport, peering through a small clear strip on one side of the glass.
Half-blind, the crew flew the approach almost entirely on instruments. The runway lights appeared, lower, lower, and the Galunggung Glider touched down, safely. All 263 people on board, every single passenger, every crew member, walked away alive. The Guinness Book of Records later listed Flight 9 as the longest glide ever performed by an aircraft not designed to glide.
But the real legacy of that night isn't the record. Because of Flight 9, the aviation world built a global network of volcanic ash advisory centers, the system that still reroutes flights around eruptions today. The fear that nearly killed 263 people now protects millions every year. Captain Eric Moody flew for years after, always insisting he was just doing his job. If this story gave you chills, hit subscribe. We tell one incredible aviation story like this every week here at Aviation Airlines. And tell me in the comments, what would you have said on that PA? Clear skies. See you in the next one.